Is that you? If that's you, every time you go to pack your personal item bag, then you're packing your personal item bag wrong. And I'm going to show you how to fix that mistake. So stay tuned. And please make sure you stay to the end where you'll see how I pack up my personal item bag. So let's talk a little bit about the ABCs of packing your personal item bag. The first thing you should do, even long before you book that ticket, is check out all the different airlines and their requirements for a personal item bag. Matter of fact, you should be doing this for also your carry-on bag, because if they are very restrictive on those two bags, then maybe that's not the airline for you, unless that's the only place that they're going to, or they're giving you a big bargain on the ticket price. Most airlines are pretty reasonable about the sizes of their personal item bag, with the exception of the European airlines. Some of them can be very small. I personally would not go with them, but for most American carriers, you can do fine with just a normal personal item size bag. Now, most of our personal carriers do give a pretty generous amount for a personal item bag, somewhere between 17 by 14 by 8. In the description below, I'll have a list of most of our domestic carriers and even some of the international carrier sizes for personal item bags. There's another thing that goes into this equation, even after that. It's the right bag. Now, when you're choosing bags, sometimes we go with the pretty bag because she looks pretty. And I know I'm guilty of this myself, but not always do those pretty bags meet our expectations, especially when it comes to a personal item bag, because that bag's got to hold a lot. And in my opinion, that bag should be able to do dual duty and be able to use it for a 5 to 7 day trip, but maybe some of you don't feel that way. Even though you still want your bag to hold all your personal items, here's the next thing to take into consideration. What are you taking with you? Now, I know for us ladies, our hair appliances take up a lot of room. And I would suggest thinking about those items a little differently, especially if you're traveling a lot. And I'll get into that a little later on in the video. But men too kind of like have their own things like cameras and tech bags, batteries, all that other stuff, the gear they think they're going to need for hiking. All those things would go into a personal item bag. But in this video, I'm going to concentrate strictly on how to pack yourself for a, say, 14-day trip in a personal item bag and have everything that you need. So let's get into it. Now, recently a viewer posted that, she didn't know how she could get all her hair stuff into a personal item bag and not go near her carry-on bag. She didn't go into detail about the items that she took, but I can pretty much figure it out on my own. I'm going to show you a couple of alternatives that you can take that I do, and it's worth it to me to get these items because it makes traveling so much easier. The first one to tackle is our hair dryers. Now, a lot of places have hair dryers already there, and so you can use those. But I'm particular about my hair because it's a little prone to frizzing. So I like an ionic hair dryer. This is my regular hair dryer. It is 1875 watts worth of ionic power, and it's huge. I mean, imagine trying to get this into your personal item bag. And yet, women try to do this all the time. But when I travel with this. This itty bitty little Revlon 1875 ionic hair dryer. Look at the size of these two. And when I fold this up, it is just a fraction of the size of this hair dryer. Not only that, this hair dryer is dual voltage, which is amazing. My only single complaint about this is it's kind of loud, but if that's my only single complaint, to get 1875 worth of power with ionic control, and it's dual voltage. So, is it worth the investment? 100%. Now let's go on to some of our other appliances that could use a little improving on. Hair straighteners. This is mine that I use at home. It's pretty darn big, right? And packing it up, it would take up a substantial amount of room, even though it kind of can be pushed flat. You don't want to take one this size when you can take one this size, right? I mean, really, look at the size difference. You're cutting down on a lot of space in your personal item bag. And before I go on any further, my daughter uses from Dry Bar a straightener that's a brush, and she just brushes it through her hair. I'll put the link of that below. I tried it out myself, and I might be getting myself one of those, and it is very reasonable. It's like $59 on Amazon at the time of making this video, so I would say that's definitely a good alternative to this. And you can even flip it back if you want to. Now let's talk a little bit about our brushes. Does this look like you? Do you need this many brushes? I mean, do you really need this many brushes? One a paddle this big, a brush like this, a brush like that. Try to think about the brushes you actually really need. And a paddle brush takes up a lot of room. This brush kind of does the job of a paddle brush. And I have to say, it works really well. It's also ionic, so it's a great brush to have. I don't take my curling brush with me on trips. I do at home, just because my bangs get a little kind of weird. But I have found that between the straightener and just blowing it out like this brush kind of covers me all. So I just take one brush. So cut it out with all these brushes. Too many brushes. Makeup and toiletries, the next really tough one to handle. Now, this used to be my toiletry bag. This is my current toiletry bag. I want to show you something. Look at the size difference. This was back in the good old days when it didn't really matter. You could take any size carry-on with you as a personal item bag. Yeah, not so much anymore. Well, unless you're going with half a Sephora with you, you don't really need this. Now, people ask, how do I get by with this? And I'm going to teach you some of my tricks that I do get by with just this. Now let's talk a little bit about our wash-up routines. First thing I'd like to address is washing off our makeup. Now personally, I tend to take this, just this. And this is a little microfiber towel that can be washed and hung up and dry, and it has a soft side and a little bit of a rougher side. And when I go to wash my face, I get all my makeup off with just water. It's just amazing. And I just pack that up into anywhere in my bag, and I'm good to go. So that's option number one. But I have 3 more options to go. Option number 2. And I do this too, especially in the summer, because your skin gets a little more greasy and icky. What these are is just these little pads that I buy from any, CVS, Walgreens, doesn't really matter. And I soak them in micellar water and I put them into a Ziploc. I count out the number of ones that I think I'm going to need for the trip. And these don't even count towards your liquids, which is fantastic because you want to keep that liquid bag really small. So that's option number 2. Option number 3, these little guys, Neutrogena, because they come in these little single-use pouches. So I count out the number of pouches that I think I'm going to need for the trip. I don't have to worry about when I buy a big pouch that maybe I use half the pouch, and then by the time I go to use it again, it's all dried out. These are always fresh. They're from Neutrogena, and I'll have them linked in the description below. So there's option number 3. These are my other favorite item. Now, they're from Oil of Olay, and what these are little cloths that are dry, and they're a good sized cloth, this big, and they activate when you put them underwater and you wash your face with them, and then you just chuck them out. And I like them because once again, they don't go into my liquids compartment, and I take just what I need and they don't dry out. And that's 4 options for you to get your face nice and clean. Now let's talk about all our other liquids. Now, I rarely travel with a full bottle of any particular makeup. There's no need to. You're not going to use a whole bottle of anything up. What you want to do is have your stuff in smaller bottles. So here's a bottle about this size for any kind of creams that I have. There's these smaller size bottles for, other items like serums and stuff like that. There's this really great idea, which is this is a contact lens case, and you might have seen this before or not, but you can fill this up with any serum, like maybe for under your eyes or stuff like that. And then there's this cheap. I go to Sephora and I get my favorite makeup and I get it as a sample, and it goes into this little container. And I have to tell you that 99% of the time, this lasts me 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm not exactly advocating for doing this. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more, but there's an idea for you. But you can also keep these containers afterwards and refill them, so you maybe don't have to feel so guilty, because you bought the product and you liked it and you refilled the container. So there are some of my ideas for how to pack with my liquids. Now, there are some liquids that you can't do that with, like your shampoo and body wash if you're into that. Now, for hotels, if you're staying in a hotel, they usually now supply you with shampoo, although sometimes some of those shampoos are shampoos and conditioners and they're not your shampoo, and I'm not a fan of their shampoos. Their body wash is usually fine. The soap, I'm a little particular about, and the way I handle soap is I take whatever size, I don't go out and buy anything special. I get my regular soap and I cut it in half, and that's the soap I'm taking on my trip. And I put that in a Ziploc and I'm ready to go. For all my other stuff, I put them in these bottles. Now, here's my little toiletry bag, and it contains my liquids. By the way, this one is marked with TSA liquids, so they know. And I use these bottles. They go up and down. They fit together like little puzzles. I have my shampoo, my conditioner. This is body cream, and that's hair conditioning stuff for when I style my hair. And that's really all I have in my liquid bag, other than my couple of gels, and that's it. And it all goes into this nice little bag, and I seal it up, and I'm ready to go. Now, I like to try to get myself a little palette of eyeshadow, which I keep like this. You can get this usually either as a giveaway or you can buy them. And this is what I take on a trip, and that's all I take with me, along with my blush and my eyeliner and mascara. I mean, it's really not much that I have to put into this side of the bag. I really don't have to put it in there, but I like to keep everything contained. It makes it easier to pack. Now, as for my makeup brushes, what I normally do is I put them here, right in the middle, and then I close it up like that, and then nothing happens to them. But there are brush containers that you can buy, and if that's the only extra thing you're going to take with you, it's really not going to take up that much room in your bag, so go for it. That's you doing you. And if you happen to have any tips of your own for how you pack your personal item bag, whether it has to do with your liquids or anything else, please leave it in the description below. So I like to show you that I actually do practice what I preach, and I'm going to pack my vase bag, she is pretty, with everything that I showed you, plus my usual stuff that I pack in my bag. And you'll see that I can get all the stuff that I just talked about into this bag and not even sweat it. This is the mini weekender, which will fit into every single domestic flight and most European flights. So let's give it a go. The first thing I'm going to do is pack the bottom of the bag, because it has a nice shoe compartment in the bottom, but I have used this in many other ways, including using this as a packing cube. So let's just start with the emergency pack. And anybody who's watched my videos knows what this is. This is 1 day's worth of emergency clothing in case they take my carry-on away from me. So what does it contain, you may ask? It contains a sweater, a leggings, a pair of pajamas, 2 pairs of socks, and 2 pairs of undies, all in here. Put that here at the bottom of the bag. I might even decompress this because I think it's making a bulge at the bottom of the bag. So let's just do that. And by the way, this is why sometimes you have to fiddle around. You see, now that fits there and they're nice. I am going to take my hairdryer and put that right in here. This is my day pack, so I'll put that in there. It's an added accessory because I like this. It's a little speaker for my listening to music in my room. And this is, I can't live without because my husband snores. It is sound machine. I'll put that in there at the bottom of the bag. My international cube, going to put that in the bottom of the bag. The bottom of this bag is pretty bottomless. And I think at this point I'm going to just zip this up. There we go. Done. Now let's pack the inside of the bag. The first thing I'm going to put in here, it has a dedicated sleeve for my computer, so I'm going to put my computer in here. So there's the computer going in. And I'm also going to put in there my cable to my computer and the plug for my computer, my shoes, my tech gear. Now, please take note, this is a double-sided tech gear bag. It's not big, and I have everything that I need in here, including my power bank. You always want to keep your power bank with you. You never want to check that because that goes into the belly of the plane if you check it, and that's a no-no. I have my umbrella in there, one brush, along with this, because everything I'm putting in the bottom of the bag, I don't need for the trip. My crossbody bag, because you're no longer allowed to wear these and take them onto the plane. Put that at the bottom of the bag. My emergency, I bought too much on the trip bag. This turns into a duffel bag. And this, I am going to put it into the other big pocket. This is a convertible wristlet, and it turns from a wristlet to a crossbody. Not gonna need it though at the airport. So that goes at the bottom of the bag. Now this bag contains everything that I'm going to need for the flight, possibly. I have it in this video over here. And if you're interested in learning more about what I put into this bag, watch that video. I'm going to put that towards the top because that's where this goes, along with my nice little comfy headphones and my slippers, because I am going to walk around on the plane with the slippers and take my shoes off. My medicine, which I keep in any dead corner of the bag, which will be on, let's see, which is a dead corner right there. This goes on top because you got to go through TSA, and all that's left is a spare pair of glasses, my lighted makeup mirror. In the back here of the bag, I can put my wallet, my passport, or my phone, and the emergency glasses I'll stick again into a dead part of my bag, and then I zip up the bag. And this is the only thing that I don't love about today's bag, is that it takes 2 hands to close it. But other than that, she is pretty, isn't she? So now you just saw me pack. I didn't have any issue with getting everything in, including all my hair appliances, all my makeup, anything to wash my face, stuff like that. So if you say you can't do it, you really can. Well, that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.